we have a $1 trillion headache? That is the question today, because we have the world's first $1 trillion company. Apple's market cap has passed that level, but it raises the issue of whether the tech sector is getting too expensive, too overvalued, and too powerful. Now, to put that in context, I've got here a chart which shows you the S&P 500 information technology market cap as a ratio of US GDP. And we've fixed it so that it starts at 100, where the index starts in 1993, 25 years ago. And once you take a look at that chart, a few things will bounce out very quickly. First of all, back in 2000, at the end of 1999, we had a quite extraordinary bubble. That's the dot-com boom there, and everyone can agree that the tech sector was far too expensive back then. But also, there has been nothing like the rise in the tech sector that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years since the dot-com boom. And if you take a look, you can see that there was actually only really about a year at the very worst of the dot-com bubble when tech was a bigger chunk of the economy than it is now. Now, is that worrying? Now, in terms of valuation, we should be very clear that this is still nothing at all like the dot-com bubble. If you take the price earnings multiple of the tech sector, it was 22 25 years ago, and it's 22 now. Meanwhile, at the top of the dot-com bubble, it was 80. Plainly, nothing like that. What we have seen in the last few years is a remarkable growth in the earnings of the tech sector rather than a growth in optimism about the tech sector. What I think is an issue is whether it is still possible for the tech sector as a whole to grow its earnings, or whether we are now at a point where one tech company is only realistically going to be able to make gains at the expense of others, where the market pie is going to be fixed and it's just going to be a question of grabbing market share. Now, if you want a cautionary tale, 25 years ago, Apple was worth about $3 billion and it was the 11th biggest tech company. Here are the names of the companies that were immediately above Apple in the list: Micro Focus, Nortel Networks, Computer Associates, Digital Equipment, and Compaq Computer at number 10. A spot survey of the millennials in our office here in New York found that none of them had heard of any of those companies. I suspect that making money from the tech sector for the next few years, you really are going to have to tell your Apples from your Compaqs.